Greetings, math friends. Today I wanted to talk about action figures, figurines, things of that sort. When we collect things, we sometimes like to have figurines and things that represent some of the things that we're interested in. And in mathematics, sometimes it feels like, to me, that there's not enough of those kind of things out there. And you really have to work hard to put together a collection. It's easy to accumulate a variety of textbooks, but sometimes you want a visual break in that. So I want to talk about figures. So the first thing that I'm going to look at is the traditional action figure. So here I have the Jurassic World Legacy Collection, Ian Malcolm. Dr. Malcolm was the nonlinear dynamicist that they had throughout the series. He's the main character in the book. He's kind of relegated to not as much of a main character in the movie, but he is still pretty consistent in the movie series. Jeff Goldblum physically plays the character in 3 of the movies. A picture of Jeff Goldblum is in one of the other movies where Jeff Goldblum isn't actually in it, and then the name of the character, Ian Malcolm, is mentioned in the movie that has no appearance of Jeff Goldblum in it. So we have Dr. Malcolm. Great character in the books if you read the books. Next one that is super popular. For the pop vinyls, I have a couple of them I'm going to show you. The first one is Jim Moriarty from the Shelock story. Now, in this show, I've not seen him actually referred to as a mathematician, but in classic Sherlock Holmes, Dr. Moriarty was a mathematician who had some specialization in astronomy, I believe. So I have Jim Moriarty here, and I also again have Dr. Ian Malcolm as pop vinyl. They made a couple of different versions of him. I like this one the best with the classic look. Another figure, also from a popular franchise, is the Lego franchise, and I don't know why Lego hasn't put more effort into creating mathematicians. They've done a nice job of expanding from fiction into some nonfiction, and they've created some historical figures, but there's very few mathematicians. They've produced 2 versions of Ian Malcolm now, again a fictional mathematician. The one's in a kind of a special collector set that it's probably going to be pretty rare to find. At least it seems like it to me. The other one is in a really expensive set that's like $250. So if you're just looking for that figure, it's not easy to come by. There's another figure that was a prototype figure that was launched by NASA into space. So there was a figure of Galileo, an actual mathematician that was made into a Lego. There's no commercial available figure of that, unfortunately. I would love to see a Galileo figure show up. But we do have this figure that showed up in the Women of NASA series. So this is Margaret Hamilton. She was one of 4 women featured in the Women of NASA series. It was 3 Lego modules that had these little dioramas, and 2 of the women were in one diorama, and then 1 each in the other remaining dioramas. So I got that set specifically for Margaret Hamilton here. She was a mathematician. The other 3 women were in science backgrounds of some sort, but not specifically mathematics. And so I got that set, and my children and I shared that. Each of them got a diorama, and then I kept this one for myself. And one last figure that I'm going to show you actually came to me by way of my daughter. She collects these little figures that are called Shopkins. It's produced by an Australian company, I believe. And they're just like common household items that are kind of have cartoon faces and little arms and things. So this is the calculator from that series. And she gave that to me because, you know, I'm her dad and I'm the mathematician in the family, and so she wanted to share that with me, and that was very kind of her to do so. So that's the last little figure that I have. It usually sets on the shelf back here. This is where I typically keep it, so I guess it's not in frame, so it's right here. That's where I typically keep it, up there on my shelf, which is, I'd like to say this is my calculus shelf for analysis, but there's a lot of books that you will see that show up in here that don't have to do with analysis or calculus courses. But that was kind of my goal, was to kind of make that a calculus analysis shelf. Hopefully this has been fun for everybody and kind of gives you an idea of some figures or action figures that you could collect to put around your office or whatnot, to kind of have some math related collectibles around that kind of breaks up the monotony of just looking at books, which I love collecting mathematics books, a variety of levels and kinds, but it is nice to have something to kind of visually and mentally break that monotony as well. Have a great day and cheerful calculations.